This week's Gaming Gauntlet is brought to you by Tiny Galaxy. Tiny Galaxy, YouTube's first official channel for everything portable gaming, whether it's iPods, PS Vita, or Nintendo 3DS. They've got you covered on all the news, reviews, and greatest gameplay Let's Players that you can find for the portable genre. Me personally, I love my smartphone, and if you have one of these amazing devices, you probably do too. But if you're a new owner of one of these marvels, you might not know where to start. Tiny Galaxy is the perfect spot for you to get started. They'll fill you in on a daily basis of what's hot and what's not in all things portable gaming. I love my smartphone so much, and if it wasn't for it, I wouldn't be able to upload these podcasts on a weekly basis like I do. So thank you, Tiny Galaxy, for supporting us, and thanks to the Android device for making all this truly possible through the YouTube application that uploads through 3G. Now let's get going to the glorious Gaming Gauntlet content. It's time to play. Welcome back to the show. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Gaming Gauntlet. I've been gone for like 2 weeks, it seems. Maybe one, but it feels more like two. It probably was two. I've been damn busy. I've got a lot of labs. I've got 2 lab courses this semester, and I'm writing a lot of research papers. Very much like the Jackie Chan Adventures, if you've ever seen that animated series. Uncle must do research! It's me who needs to do research this time, and I've been writing a lot of research papers. One of the cool things I'm doing, though, one of the research papers I am writing, because it is my own choosing, is one about Pokemon. That's right, guys. I convinced my professor to let me do this research paper. I said, hey, prof, listen, I know a thing or two about Pokemon, and I can find out 1,000 more things about Pokemon. I could write about it all day. In fact, you go check out my blog right now. Don't do that. You're watching a podcast. But later, and you could see that I've been doing this for months now, writing about Pokemon. And I'm going to tell you the truth, guys. I'm working on a book about Pokemon. I don't know when it's going to be done. I don't even know what it's fully going to be about. I know it's going to involve EV training. It's going to be involving the phenomenon that is Pokemon. So how did this craze get started? Why are people still playing it today? Sort of questions answered like that. And it's really exciting for me. So I'm glad that I get this jump on it now. And kind of the blogs are also going to be meshed into there somehow as well. But it's one of the things I'm working on. It's a goal of mine. One goal that has been reached, and I want to doubly thank the people who have made this all possible, is Tiny Galaxy. Now, of course, you saw an ad in the beginning of the show for that, and I want you to hear me out on the advertisements, because if you want to know my true opinion of all these things and sponsorship, my thoughts about it, go to my blog channel. I'm not going to badmouth anything about it. I like this opportunity. But I know from a viewer's point that ads can be annoying, and I know you don't want to hear anything about it. But realize this, guys. The more revenue that comes in by you clicking things and by people watching videos and the things getting circulated and just being as a partner, then the more games I get to LP for you, because the bank for that is a lot more boosted because of the sponsorship. So reckon with me there and deal with it on that standpoint, but realize it's just generating more content for you. So ads are a good thing. But Tiny Galaxy I want to take a little bit of time to talk about, because who are these people that sponsored me? Are they legitimate? You know, I get a lot of PMs and comments on my partnership video. Hey, I also was partnered by Fullscreen. Are these guys too legit to quit, or should I just walk away slowly? No, they seem legit to me. I've not honestly gotten a check from them yet, but it's not been 30 days, so I can't discount them for that. But it is a true partnership. This is not something that tries to take control of your channel. You keep all the rights to your videos. In fact, it really enables you to do more with your videos, because before I had mere monetization in which every day I would be threatened by YouTube that, hey, you can't monetize this gameplay video, even though I believe it's original content because the commentary I put on it and the educational value I give it, you can't put that up there because you don't have the copyrights. What Fullscreen and Tiny Galaxy do for me is give me those rights. So anybody who's been questioning that, don't worry, guys. They are pretty freaking legit. And go ahead and try and hitch your wagon to them while you can, because this is a new thing. Tiny Galaxy is brand spanking new. It's the first official mobile gaming channel on YouTube. So if you're a big portable fanboy like myself, you're going to enjoy what this channel has to offer. It's not just my Pokemon content. It's everybody, ranging from iPods, iPads, to Android devices like this. You get solid reviews on the best products and games to buy. You get unboxing videos. I recently went onto the channel and saw someone did a PS Vita unboxing, so you get to see if that is really worth what all the hype has been saying it is. And it's really an awesome channel. I'm thrilled to be a part of it right now because it's all because of a portable gaming system that I got into gaming after all. If you recall, a couple weeks back, we talked about why portable gaming is so compelling. And it's really developed into now a full phenomenon where I'm not just playing portable games, I'm earning revenue because I'm playing portable games. That's a fascinating thing for me. And aside from gaining money from it, it's crazy to see how it's morphing our culture, how everybody's becoming a gamer because it's with us all the time. Whether you're playing Angry Birds or Pokemon, you're gaming, and it shows the innate nature of humans to want to have joy and play. So it's things I'm going to be talking about within my Pokemon research paper when that is coming out. I don't know when. It's not like a video, of course, that gets uploaded to somewhere, but I am going to try and get it published. I've been published before. I've had poetry published before. I'm not going to tell you where it was published because I don't like it. It's really facepalm material that I put up in high school, and I'm a completely different human now, so I don't even consider that as a part of my work. But yeah, so I'm going to see if I can get that published, but it's really incredible how portable gaming is shifting the entire culture of humanity. Now, last week, what we did, and I tried to record a podcast. Funny thing about that, I did record the podcast. I even have the video file of my mouth going blah, 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 blah. But that's the thing. It was just my mouth moving, and no sound was picked up from the audio. Reason for that was I was doing my podcast in another place where I didn't have my headset, and unfortunately the recording settings were still set to the microphone. So it was trying to record through a non-existent mic and didn't get anything. But anyway, the Skyrim stream, which we did last week, which I was trying to hype up and failed to, it was a blast. It only took us roughly 8 hours to beat, which is really funny because everyone said that, oh, you can't beat that game in under 10 hours. What are you talking about? And we zoomed through it. You can go check out that full marathon on the Gamerscast channel, which right there, hosted by Matt Goldsman, and it was a good old time. Go check out the dragon slaying action. Although, funny thing is, I don't think we encountered that many dragons. You know, we got direct to the point. We didn't really waste much time going on side quests and things. Made it a bit more difficult and interesting on later parts of the game because we were less experience points. But it's a really fun game. I'm going to devote an entire episode to talking about Skyrim next week. But this week, on my own, I got the game, and I've been playing it myself and loving it. It is incredible. I love that game. It might not be for you. I've been talking to a lot of people, and I'm surprised at how many people dislike that game. It seems to be with really hardcore RPG fans that they don't like the inaccuracy or sometimes unpredictability of the game. The fact that the mechanics and landing a hit is not only dependent on pressing the A button, but where you are on the map and angling and how much power you've built up over the gameplay time. There's a lot of things to figure, but we'll, of course, talk about that more next podcast. But I wanted to update you guys this one and tell you that the whole stream went off without a hitch, and you could check it out here. It was great. Other things that are different with my channel, you're going to start to notice blue lettering appearing in some of the LPs. Pretty much all the new LPs that come out, I'd like this new blue lettering to appear. And what it is shows. What a show is something exclusive to YouTube partners. So again, there's another benefit of being subscribed, or not subscribed, but being partnered with Fullscreen. They allow you to do this with your channel. It basically allows your Let's Play or whatever playlist series that you turn into a show. It allows people to see it in their subscription feed individually. So while you'll be updated on all the different videos that I put out over the course of my YouTube history, you may miss one or two because sometimes I like to upload multiple videos a day if I can. And if I upload a Sonic video and a Minecraft video, the people who love Minecraft might not even known there was a Sonic one to be had. But if you subscribe to the Sonic Generations walkthrough show, it will show up every time that individual playlist updates. So you'll never have to miss an episode again. No worries about, am I missing my walkthrough? Am I not where I am supposed to be? Why is he over here? Where was the other episodes? Now I have to go back in the history of his videos and, annoying. Not anymore. Shows are going to remedy that, and you can notice it already on the Pokemon Crystal walkthrough, has got the blue lettering, and if you want to subscribe to a show, you just click that blue lettering. That blue is supposed to symbolize that it's a link to go to. You can go to that show's homepage and subscribe to it. It'll update on your feed. And another additional thing you can do if you have an LP that you're particularly watching, I know that Vlad's Minecraft LP is a huge one on the channel. So if you want to keep up to date with every time he updates there, you could actually go into your settings. Unfortunately, I can't show you right now via screen cap because I'm not online. This is all recorded offline and then later uploaded at a library close to me. But you can go into your subscription settings and pin different shows to your sidebar. So that new sidebar that has the Google Plus and all the other sign-in bar and your video comments and all that over to the left, you can also pin the subscribed shows to that area. And it's a great way to keep up to date with your favorite content. Things not to involve my channel and things in the nature of Pokemon is the new movie that's been announced. Pokemon Kyurem vs. the Sacred Swordsman Keldeo, which Keldeo is part of the Deer Trio. It's the cult Pokemon, and it's not available in anyone's black and white game. It's only available in the future, I'm sure, by some kind of downloadable event. The reason I bring this up, I know this is a gaming podcast and that's a movie, but it involves Pokemon. And I just wanted to gauge your opinions on it because I stopped watching the movies disappointedly time and time again. You know, I say that I stopped watching them, but then I come back years later and I say, okay, how good was this? Did they really make it that interesting? Was the animation great? Mainly I go back to these videos to see the animation because where else do you get to see Pokemon but when the creators actually animate it well? And they do some spectacular renderings with legendary Pokemon in the movies. But the problem is, these movies are becoming tedious. These things are so repeated. It's almost becoming indistinguishable of which movie is which. Because you have your legendary, you have your other counterpart forces of legendaries that need to be controlled and contained, whether it's the legendary bird trio that had to be controlled by Lugia, or Dialga and Palkia tearing up space-time and Giratina having to come in and fix things, or Darkrai having to come fix things. It's the same freaking thing. I wanted to know what you guys think. Are the Pokemon movies dead by no changing storyline? A repeated story that time and time again just goes through the grinder and plops out a pretty product, but one with not a lot of structure and establishment? I want to know what you guys think. Moving on, though. Something interesting that Nintendo and Game Freak Creatures have applied for, a patent, is Pokemon Adventure Camp. Nobody knows what this is except they do. Is it a game that's coming out somewhat like Pokepark Wii? Is it a actual camp that people get to go to and learn all the awesomeness of Pokemon? Who knows? We'll have to keep updated on that. I'll let you know. I only mentioned it because it possibly could be a game, although a Pokemon Adventure Camp, to me, I hear that and think automatically it's going to be some summer camp for kids in Japan, which is a bummer because, you know, Japan, I love Pokemon too, and there's probably going to be an age restriction on that, but that's cool. I always wished that, for example, the Pokemon theme park would export itself around the world, but Mickey Mouse is too strong. They don't want to compete with that, and it's understandable. So, maybe fun for all ages, but probably most likely is going to be a little kid summer camp that involves Pokemon. So, I'll keep you posted on that. New games-wise, some interesting things have been coming out. First, the one we know about, Nobunaga's Ambition. This is a really cool update. It is confirmed to have downloadable Wi-Fi missions. There's already 2 missions that have been announced for the launch when it comes out in March. Still not sure, kind of on the fence of getting it or not, because I'm not sure if it's Nintendo DS locked. If it's region locked, I can't get it, can't play it. If it's not region locked, which please update me if you know what the status of that is, then I will definitely try to import it. But the missions you can get right off the bat, the origins of friendship between Motonari and Motochika, it goes from March 17th to no deadline announced yet. And the second mission you can grab offline is the Wandering Kabuki performer Kiji's story, or Keiji's story, that's probably how you say that, which runs from March 24th to April 13th. I think this is a phenomenal idea, and I want to see this being done in more Nintendo games. This is extremely awesome. I haven't heard any rumblings of it costing any extra, which I think is really freaking amazing. I would love to see them do this with the main RPG franchise. Wouldn't that be freaking fantastic? I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to try and claim that I know what it takes to program all these elements and to reorganize your game once it's already been put out on the market. How easy is it to get all your characters and Pokemon to rearrange to make new missions? But if you had that idea in mind when you started programming it, you could build the infrastructure within the cartridge to do that. This way, different characters and different text dialogues could be opened up by downloadable events through Nintendo's Wi-Fi. We've already seen the great potential and differing of the gameplay that can be done just by changing a Pokemon's ability through the dream world. Imagine the experience and endless fun and joy we could have if one day you just woke up and, oh look, there's a new challenger that Nintendo is downloading into your game. He's a badass. Be careful, he's tougher than Cynthia. But since you already beat Cynthia, you can download it. And they could do that. They could have certain markers in the game where they won't let you download it until you beat that area of the game. I think that would be really freaking intense. It would compel people to get through the game, the main game, and then it would keep people interested knowing that there are future updates and missions for people to do. People could go on Pokemon item collection missions where they have to go fight some trainers out in a new area and then bring back the item that was requested by someone who recruited them. It's just an idea, but I'm really happy to see that Nobunaga's Ambition is having these downloadable missions, and I really, really, really hope it's localized. I don't know who watches these shows. I hope somehow it trickles down or up to Nintendo or Pokemon Company, but I would love to play this game. It's really inspiring to me to see that there's a new storyline coming out, and it makes me wish that they would do this more often. I would love to see differences in the Pokemon franchise that did play upon that sturdy franchise of RPG elements that have been developed over years and years of fine-tuning with EV training, natures, and everything. I think where we are right now, you could stop cold turkey, and we'd have enough Pokemon, different mechanics, and different evolutions to mess around with for decades, and we'd be fine. But now what I need to continue being interested in this franchise and to fuel my love for Pokemon is some original storylines. The original story, great, we got it like 1,000 times, okay? We got it when Pokemon Red came out. The person who got Pokemon Red and stopped playing would totally understand what Pokemon Black and White was. That's kind of good and it's kind of bad. I know if it ain't broke, don't fix it, but now it's starting to become dull because nobody's made any edits to it. Oh, wow, you made a graphical improvement here. Oh, look at that. Amazing bridges, big deal. New natures are great, but it only becomes more mechanics and things to calculate later. But if I'm not inspired to play through the game, what's going to even make me waste all that time EV training if it's just not a game that inspires me. So here's hoping that it somehow gets up to the higher-ups that we would like to see a different story. The old story is dead. It's a beaten horse that has been dead for years, and I thought they would kind of evolve and mature out of it when they had the Shadow Pokemon come out in Pokemon Colosseum and Gale of Darkness, which we talked about last episode. I thought that was a new mark for Nintendo, but apparently not. The portable franchise of Pokemon has stayed the same. But this, Nobunaga's Ambition, is coming out on the DS, and that's a really good sign. It means difference. Of course, it is a completely different type of game. It's a real-time strategy game. So, we can only hope. We can only hope that they'll try and institute a new game storyline in the next Black and White, Pokemon Black and White 2, which has just recently been announced. I mean, like, just a couple of seconds ago. When I'm recording this, it is the 25th of February. It's a Saturday, and just before I was about to hit the record button, I saw a video in my inbox that said Pokemon Black and White 2 coming out, have been announced. That's interesting. 1, they didn't even change the names. 2, it's a combination. The main legendaries that will be on the box, it's a combination, a new form of Kyurem, which is going to be with Zekrom and Reshiram making an Ice-Electric and Ice-Fire type. That's fascinating. But don't know if I could get too excited about it. I hate to say it. I hate to say it, especially being a Pokemon maniac like I am. But with what I just mentioned before of the Pokemon Company constantly repeating the storyline, why am I going to even care about this? Okay, it's coming out in June, just in case you are very optimistic about this game. I still hold a little grain of hope for it, but we're going to have to see. I'm not really giving a shit if it's just a different form in the same region with the same story. And yes, Nintendo, the same story, it is the same story essentially, even if you change what the evil team does. Even if you change what the legendary Pokemon is, it's essentially the same story. So please, don't disappoint. Okay, I can't say please don't disappoint, because this game has probably honestly already been in production if it's already ready to be launched in June of 2012. But interesting thing, it's not on 3DS. I was shocked about that. Really shocked. I guess they're still working on a 3DS Pokemon game. They still haven't worked out the graphical limitations of it. They want it to look good, I'm guessing, not just like the quickly shoot out the door Pokemon Rumble Blast, which was anything but a blast. It was more of just rumbling, rambling spam attacks all across the screen for win. In 3D now, oh great, now you can get a headache if you turn a little bit, and not worth the buy. But yeah, I'm very surprised that they didn't put this even on 3DS to be like 3DS enhanced, like 2.5D of 3D, where you would go throughout a 2D rendered landscape, but the sprites would be popping out. I thought they would make a difference in there. So I'm really very skeptical about this game. I'm really not finding myself too enthralled about it, because the last Pokemon adventure I went on, Black and White, was barely enjoyable for me. I'm going to say it. It was barely enjoyable. I appreciated the shit out of it. Don't get me wrong. They perfected it to the T. So many things about that game are fantastic and phenomenal for RPGs. Really one of the best in the series. But I can't keep congratulating them on coming up with the same exact story. It's just a freaking shanking of my wallet so they can make more money off of the franchise name. Thanks, but no thanks, Nintendo. I'm an EV trainer. You're going to have to bring me further than just, oh, it's the same story, a little bit different Pokemon. Really. But again, this is all speculation. I am hoping the best for it, because as a Pokemon fan and enthusiast, I want to enjoy it. But I'm going to need a little bit more than just new forms of Pokemon. A Skyformer Shaman or a Fire and Electric type of Kyurem is not going to be enough to make me buy this game. I'm going to say it. I will rent the game. I will make a video of me renting the game and handing it back to the GameStop guy, because that is how much I do not want to support Nintendo for repeating the same shit. I'm sorry, but you can't put out the same role-playing game and expect me to do the exact same role I've been doing for decades. Okay, not decades, but a decade and then some. It's just not compelling anymore, and games like Skyrim, RPGs that are actually putting something original out there and something I haven't done before in worlds I've never seen, facing enemies I've never fought, they're going to earn my money. I'm going to move to Steam in a heartbeat because I've got a machine that can run it. I'll still play your Pokemon. I'll still make the LP. But by God, you've not earned my respect on developing the same game over and over again. But I don't want to beat my own dead horse of a point into the ground by saying the same thing over, so let's move on. Downloads of the week. If you are in Australia, you can get a global link giveaway of Mamoswine. What makes this Mamoswine so important is its hidden ability, its dream world ability, Thick Fat. It's really cool that they made it Thick Fat, because if you don't know what that ability is, it gives your Pokemon some resistance against fire and ice types. Of course, Mamoswine being ice/ground, it's not going to need the resistance to ice types, but it sure does help against fire. So probably next week I'm thinking I'm going to do an EV Train set on Mamoswine with the Thick Fat ability. This way anybody in Australia and anybody else who has had the chance to download that in the past months before the Gaming Gauntlet came out, it was circulating around the world. It's already, I think, been to America, unfortunately, because I missed it. I know it's been in Japan. So if you're in Australia, here's your chance to get it. And one thing you have to know is it's a special password only kind of thing. You have to go to the Pokemon Global Link website. If you don't know where that is, go to Pokemon.com, follow the links for the global link, and then look for a link on your section, on your login. If you don't have an account, of course, create one, and look for a section that says promotion. It'll allow you to enter in a code, and that's where you'll enter in that phrase right there, Pokemon.com. It's not a dot like an actual period, it's DOT.com, which of course you can see from the words. Post-production is a marvelous thing. And that's all for the news this week. Other than that, some things have been going down on the Microsoft/Nintendo versing front, but it's a big speculation kind of thing. I'll leave an article link below, and that is Microsoft may already be taking ideas from Wii U, which just boggles my mind. I needed to bring it up because so much flack has been given to Nintendo about motion, and I don't think that there's been one apology statement or one, oh yeah, you know what, Nintendo, you're absolutely right. Look, we have Kinect and we have PS Move, and yeah, you guys really did something revolutionary and groundbreaking that, quite frankly, we as Sony and Microsoft were too much of pussies to go out and adventure to see if that would be profitable. We just wanted to stick with the hardcore because we knew it would be worth the cash. Nintendo, they wanted to experiment. Again, they were trying to get another type of audience. Don't mistake it for not a profit-motivated maneuver. They were trying to go after casual core. But just like I mentioned at the beginning of this podcast, because we have new portable devices that are putting games in everyone's hands, everyone is becoming a sort of gamer. You know, you have different classifications of gamers, RPG fans, hardcore, but it's not anymore a stark line drawn in the sand of hardcore, casual core. They're intermeshing because the casual core are now getting indoctrinated in a way through the downloadable system of gaming to find new games. Imagine when people move from a mobile platform to maybe Steam, all the different games that they're going to find and unlock. It's really great to be blurring those lines and having everybody become a gamer, because everybody then can understand what I'm talking about when I go rambling on passionately about how I love my binary. But yeah, it seems that Microsoft might, I say might because it's not confirmed, we're all going to learn about this at E3 this year, they might be copying the Wii U's tablet kind of controller. Very interesting, because I didn't really see that tablet as being too spectacular. I probably didn't get it. I didn't see the nuance in it. I mean, I could see the benefit of using it as a gyroscope to look around your area, kind of like you do with the 3DS already. But other than that, I can't really imagine what they're going to be doing with it. It will be interesting to see. But all I wanted to say was, Microsoft and Sony, you really ought to get on recognizing where you got your ideas from, because you can't just say that, oh, Kinect and PS Move were completely original ideas. No, it stemmed from many years of prodding and poking at Nintendo, saying their motion sucked. Okay, their motion wasn't perfect, but they gave you the foundation for you to build stronger motion devices like Kinect, like Move. And guess what, guys? I don't give a shit about what company comes up with it first. I'm looking for the most interesting technology. Right now, it's Kinect. I don't get Kinect at the moment because there's not that many games that use it that I would really enjoy. But it's an interesting technology that is due for some awesome software. But you really ought to recognize, every company out there, that you all borrow and pick and choose and reorganize and remix each other's ideas. That's how we get different things in gaming. And we're going to talk about evolution in gaming later on in this week's Gaming Philosophy. But now we move into the dubstep compilation of the week. You want to check it out? Click that video right there. Just a reminder why I'm not putting it within the podcast. I don't want to get copyright infringed and have my channel taken down. Boy, wouldn't that be a stupid thing to do. Just have all of this goodness ended with Gaming Gauntlet, the LPs, commenting with you guys. All that fun stuff would be taken away if I got copyright infringed far too many times. So I'm not doing that. Instead, it's on my blog channel, which just started, really. Don't care if it gets shot down. You know, it's my personal channel. It's just where I ramble on. It's almost like my video diary. But this week's compilation is from Jolt. It is, the song title, at least, is Jolt by Liquid Stranger, mixed with Metroid. Not Metroid Prime, like this shirt is, but Metroid Other M. Sorry, I don't have a Metroid Other M shirt. I would love to find one, though. This actually came from PAX a couple years back, thanks to Ryan Church, so thumbs up to him. But yeah, it's a very awesome freaking song. Rocket launcher, boom! So intense of a dubstep that you really ought to check it out. I so wish that I could have music in the podcast. I really wish that music companies were not such giant douchebags, because I bought this music. I supported the artist. That's why I'm trying to do these dubstep compilations, so I could spread their music out to people who may not have heard it yet, and so they could get a larger audience, sort of like how Nintendo tried with the casual core. But musicians can't reorganize their music like that. It's just what comes from them. It's what they are, trying to be exclaimed in a soundbite form that's melodic. You can't change that necessarily all the time to try and reach other audiences, nor do you want to. I'm not going to start doing for example, sex toy reviews, something that almost got this channel canceled because I want more followers or viewers. The reason I did that in the first place was because I thought it would be a good product for my kind of people to enjoy. Anybody who has a dick, that is. That's my kind of people. But, beside the point, I'm not going to be doing something just to get other audience members for numbers, just like musicians wouldn't either. So the whole idea of putting music within your podcast or within your video is free advertising. You don't have to pay me to put out that music so people can enjoy it and then buy it themselves. No, I just want people to hear this music because it is freaking amazing, and it fuels me. It makes me feel spectacular. I actually made a blog about it recently, the Coffee Conversation blog, about analyzing sound. And is there a certain sound that sounds right to all of us universally, or is it something that's programmed with genes, that maybe we have kind of a predisposition to certain music, whether it's something we've heard in the womb that our mothers had put to their stomachs before we came out, or who knows? It's a mystery that really does perplex me, but I discuss it on that channel, and also you could check out this week's dubstep compilation on there. So click it, enjoy it, and now we move on to what I've been playing this week. This week I've been playing Spore. Oh, what a disappointment. I hate to say that because I haven't played a lot of it. Honestly, it's really hard to it's really hard to talk about a game that you just kind of delved into starting-wise. I've played a lot more Skyrim than I have Spore, but Spore's not compelling to me. I really liked the water level, where I'm eating different things of my sizes and trying to avoid being eaten all at the same time. I enjoyed that stage. It was fun. And the character customization is interesting. That's really where Spore shines, I feel, is in the different evolution options you give your creatures. I think that's really spectacular, but it's not that amazing when that's the only thing that's really driving the game. And I'm sure it's not. I'm sure there's going to be many Spore fanboys on this podcast who say, oh, well, DeoGenZ, you're so wrong, and here's why. And please comment below. I want to be inspired to play this game. Years back, when this game first came out, I was so enthralled to hear about it. Like, wow, a game about evolution. That's incredible. That's going to inspire so many other people who play games to get into science, maybe. But the problem is, once you get out of the water, out of the Precambrian soup, and you're on land with legs, all you do is sing and poorly attack other creatures out in the wild. You could sing at them or charm them, I guess, to make alliances and increase your brain size, and that, of course, increases your evolution capabilities, or you could fight them. And it's not anything remarkable. It's just click, wait till it charges, click, wait till your attack charges, click. Okay, I'm dead because I couldn't charge fast enough. Wow, that's great. I just got raped by a whole onslaught of, what the fuck is that? Those kind of creatures, you know? And the creatures are fun, you know, they're interesting, but I'm so bored. I'm so bored going back and forth between the nests because I chose an herbivore. I myself am a vegetarian, been one my whole life, never had any meat, so I thought, all right, I'm going to choose herbivorous creatures here. That's what I know how to do best. And it's so tedious trying to sing at creatures. It's not like you're oonch and pressing button configurations to make them move in smooth moves in accordance with how the creature you're dancing for likes it. No! You just click a button and he does his thing. That's it. That's all that it is. And it's so boring. I can't even progress any further to evolve to the state that I hear so much greatness about, which is sentience, where you get to leave the planet and take over other planets in the galaxies. That sounds like fun, but if it's anything like the combat of this game, if it's anything like the cooperation system in this game, where you just click a button and you hope by mere chance that they enjoy your dancing styles, I couldn't imagine exploring space to be that all much great. You know, if it's just going to be one click to do everything, I'm not going to like it. But please, comment below. Let me know, are my fears of this game and boredom justified, or have I not given this thing a fair rap? It's quite possible that I haven't. I still have the game, of course, because I bought it for super cheap at GameStop, but I don't know if I'm going to go back to it. I really don't, which is sad. I really had high hopes for that game, and I wish I knew that it was so boring and tedious for the first half of the game. I mean, I just hope that there's more. I hope there's more to it. And if you have tips and strategies, please leave them below too, because it's really frustrating to watch your creature dance and get right up to the stat, because the way that it happens, it's like two status bars that have to meet together, and then, oh, you're friends, and rainbows fall from the sky, but you get right to the very edge, and then they stop dancing, and it's all over. And that's just not fun for me, and I gotta stop shaking the table, because that makes the camera going crazy. But other than Spore, a game that I have been playing, Pokemon Black, I went back to that, humorously enough, as a new one might come out in June. Yeah, I've just been kind of experience training. It's really not a lot to say. I've been training my Fearothorn. I haven't been EV training. The thing is, I'm really not compelled these days. It sucks not having Wi-Fi, for one thing, but it also sucks because I go back to that game and I'm like, wow, you know, the only thing that kept me plugging hundreds and hundreds of hours into Pokemon Diamond was really the Wi-Fi. It was the global trading station. It was meeting people online in Cerebi and on forums and versing them. And that was the most fun that I had. Unfortunately, as a single-player game, it's just boring. It's just like experience grinding. So Pokemon Black single-player, it's not too vast an experience. Yeah, you can improve your Pokemon, but damn does it take a long time. I've been considering just using Pokesalve. If you've never heard of Pokesalve, I'm going to have to probably devote an episode to it. One, to discuss the controversy of it, and two, to discuss how you use Pokesalve. I'll probably I'll probably do a whole gaming gauntlet on that one day. But I'm really considering it. I know exactly what is legitimate stats. I've been studying Pokemon for years now and EV training them legitimately for years now, and I'm getting frustrated with it. I come up with too many EV trained Pokemon on paper that I have time to program for. It sucks. It's either, I play my games and then I play Pokemon off to the side, EV train, and then I don't have anybody to verse on Wi-Fi ever because I don't have Wi-Fi at the moment. Or I play games and record, commentate, have a lot more fun because it's something different. It's not just constant not EV, but EXP and EV, really, if you think about it, grinding. It's so much more fun for me. And I want to enjoy Wi-Fi battles. I really do. But it's going to be impossible for me if I never get back to EV training, which at this point I'm not. I have not trained one Pokemon yet. Not even one in the 5th gen that has been EV trained. It's all been experience-based because that's all you need to defeat the main game, and I haven't had anybody online to fight because I don't have online. So let me know in the comments what you think about this kind of very significant shift for me. Should I move to Pokesalve? I intend on breeding legitimate Pokemon. I intend on making the stats completely as they should be and calculating them correctly. But I think I've had enough of doing it the traditional way, so let me know. And of course, what else do I always play every week but Minecraft? So now it's time for DeoGenZ's Crafting Corner. Let's get crafting. Of course, at super speed. The reason I'm going super fast this time was I kinda went overboard with recording for the Crafting Corner. This is not meant to be a full Let's Play by any standpoint, and I don't want to usurp the views that Vlad has going on with his LP. So from now on, probably going to keep it sped up. It really depends. You know, this particular time, since I hadn't really been playing so much Minecraft, really just working on my research papers and doing labs and such, it's more of me playing than showing off what I've done. So that's why this is all sped up. But right now I am trying to collect dirt blocks to not only renovate my town, to try and make it so that forests can grow and grass can come into a sandy biome. Basically, that's what I'm trying to do right now. Reshape the whole entire weather system around a dirt patch. Try to get dirt to grow grass where it's so dry that I don't get any rain ever. Never do I see rain. And a lot of people dislike rain, but me, I love it. I don't know, it's very soothing to me, and it's not like I'm getting wet for real. It's just my Minecraft dude. So I am trying very greatly to alter the biome. And the way that I'm doing it, I think hopefully will work, is by burrowing underneath my sand wall and putting some dirt blocks that connect up to some already green dirt grass blocks. So we'll have to see. But today, I am doing just that. I am making mushrooms. Huge mushrooms. I recently learned about this by accident when me and my brother were just messing around in Minecraft, and he said, "Hey, DeoGenZ, you ever try to put bone meal on a mushroom?" And I thought to myself, why no, I had not. And it turns out they extremely expand. I thought a mushroom was fully grown at its mini size, but when you put bone meal on it, it makes it a mega monolith mushroom. Awesome portobellas, giant Amanita muscaria, which are the red and polka dotted mushrooms. Those are the psychedelic kinds. And I'm getting inspiration by how large these things are and how crowded my town is getting. to build my town upwards. Yeah, I have more desert to go expand outwards to, but right now I'm still renovating it so it can finally rain here. So for now I'm just going to build my city/village up in the sky on mushrooms. Kinda like the Toad Town in Mario and Luigi's Superstar Saga. So as I grow patches of mushrooms, they have been doing very well, that's good to see. As I grow patches of mushrooms, I can build more pillars on top of each other. What's a really cool building method if you're wanting to make your town original or just live in something that's not made out of wood or cobblestone or dirt, you could just pile one mushroom on top of another one by climbing on top of it and poof, just like that. Put a dirt block at the center and keep on layering. And then it's up to you how you want to burrow out your shroom. Not sure though if you can collect the mushroom blocks. It doesn't seem like it. I've blocked away some of them by accident, and it doesn't reconfigure as a little mycelium block. It just poof, gone. Maybe you can harvest it somehow. Do let me know, because that would be awesome if you could get polka dot blocks and put them wherever you damn well please, not having to form in the space that the mushroom needs. The one downfall, if you start to make your house within the woods, because there's maybe a mine shaft nearby, it's not going to give you enough room. And speaking of enough room, yes, I know, these plants need more space, and I'll get to reorganizing my pumpkins later. But yeah, if you are in a forest situation, climb up into a tree and just, poof, put a dirt block on top of the tree and grow your mushroom that way. Because they do need a lot of space. They won't even grow if you're too close to them or if there's something blocking them. So don't be discouraged if... I'm just curious at this point. Nope. No giant pumpkin. Yeah, but that will allow you to get up high without being blocked away by some kind of size limitation barrier. Yeah, that's a shame. No giant jack-o'-lanterns. That would have been really freaking badass if that was the case, but it's not. So let's go up and construct a bit. Start to make my mushroom village in the sky more stable. It's probably going to take a lot more resources than I honestly have now, because so many of my resources that I'd use, like the fencing and things to protect people so they wouldn't fly off the mushrooms, basically me. I don't really think the NPCs are going to make it up here, but who knows? You know, that's all tied up in my great NPC migration project, which we will go to see after I'm done blocking up my shrooms and connecting them so I can travel amongst them. And I also want to make sure that no monsters spawn here, so adding torches to everything is a plus. It's also a very cool way to make a lantern, if you think about it. Not like the Pokemon lantern, but a mushroom chandelier, maybe. And we'll even build this tree into it. I don't think the last time that I was here at the crafting corner you guys saw these trees, so that's technically a new addition. But other than making trees and digging out dirt, you know, that's the sad thing, I haven't done much. Sometimes life gets busy. You don't have time to play Minecraft, and that's why, even at the crafting corner, I still show the progress. Huh. Might have to make my wall higher now. Nah, probably not. The way that I envision this mushroom city going, mushroom skyscrapers and such, is that they're going to be self-regulated, they're going to be safe, so no monsters can spawn in them or around them. And at that level of where spiders can climb into, they're going to be blocked anyway by my cacti. Anytime a NPC, or not an NPC, but a mob actually, comes to try and climb over my wall, they get shot backwards after they touch the spikes. It's almost like an electric fence, but even better. So I don't think I really have to worry about my mushroom towers getting up so high. But now we are going to climb up high and travel on my NPC migration bridge. This was a huge project that's still going on, but is really coming to a close now, because the NPCs have finally made it onto this bridge. You know, I don't know Well, I guess we're going to find out, but I'm not sure if within this edition of the bridge they're on the bridge, but if they're not, they're damn near close, and they are currently on the bridge and moving along. And what am I babbling about but NPCs? I am moving an entire village of NPCs. I've been in the process for a couple of weeks now of destroying their village, pillage their village so I can get their supplies and relocate them because they were surrounded by mobs. Endermans, creepers, so many craters from creepers, unbelievable, that I wanted them to be transported to a safer town like mine. Plus I thought, man, wouldn't it be interesting? Oh good, they are on the bridge. Very cool. Wouldn't it be interesting if I rose my population? Because it's not like the NPCs can breed like cattle. You can't give them wheat blocks, or not wheat blocks, but wheat bits. You can't give them cake. They don't want anything. They don't want meat. It's kind of really annoying. The only way that you could have fun with these guys, I see, is by pushing them around to where they're not supposed to be, which is precisely what I'm doing here. And this is why it's so easy and why I pretty much consider these guys wrapped up and done. Once they're on this bridge, it's hella easy for me to push them along the fencing. Before, when I was trying to deal with the regular terra forma of how the land shaped up, it was excruciatingly annoying. Because not only would I have the NPCs who were fickle and didn't want to move along the easy, well, not the time it wasn't easy, the non-linear path that we were going on with so many jagged cliffs and things, but also, if there was ever an overhang of land, mobs would swarm them, and I'd have to leave for the night, because if they started attacking me, I couldn't attack the mobs back. We were all too closely clustered to where I would accidentally hit the NPCs, and the idea here is not to murder them. I want them to live peacefully in my new village. But, I'm not going to move them all in one juncture, but this is really how the best way you can relocate these guys to do, is just pretty much build your own direct path. I tried using the normal ground that was around, and it was alright to a degree, but having to climb up cliffs with NPCs, and all the fencing it takes too. This is a really simplistic fencing mechanism, just going straight. The only thing you have to worry about is pushing them along the fence. You don't have to worry about making sure they don't jump up and off of a fence, because that sometimes happens. If they get up on higher ground, they'll try and jump out of the pen, which, yeah, who could blame them, but hey, that's not the goal here. So, really, if you want to get your own NPC village, you don't like the NPC village that has already been built, say that you make your own village out of mushrooms in a magical forest out of Amanita muscaria mushrooms, but you need people to populate it, then build yourself a dirt bridge to wherever they're going. Even if it barely hovers across the land, just make it so that it's up in the sky. You have a less chance of being attacked by mobs, and this waterfall will safely, once they're at that point, transport them down into my village. Because if you think about it, if I just let them fall off at that height, there's a good shot that many of them will die. Not my fault, but there were some accidental creeper smacks that resulted in NPC damage. And right now I am trying to do as I mentioned earlier in the but crafting corner. It's so funny. It's really not an LP, but it's just, it's like one. It's like a mini LP, if you ask me. But I'm trying to get my ground to be green, and the only way that I could picture this happening is with already green dirt blocks touching other dirt blocks and spreading. I've noticed it happening on the outside in the coast of where my village is located, so I'm going to see and experiment if the entire village can turn green just by a couple of blocks touching it. And hopefully a fence doesn't affect anything. But we shall see. I mean, that's going to be what we tackle on next crafting corner. Boy, I hope I have time to play some more, but you let me know in the comments below. Was this speedy run at Minecraft not enjoyable? Did you not get the full depth and enjoyment out of my crafting corner because it was quick? Or is this sufficient? I mean, hey, we are hosting a podcast here at the moment. I don't know. You let me know in the comments below. Alright, since we got some fencing, as I mentioned before, most of my fence resources are tied up in that NPC bridge project right now. I will put some of them back. Now I can start to really put the fencing back in my town. I mean, most of this was made out of lots and lots of wood. Some of the wood taken from their village, which is irony. I love it. Some of the wood that I just took from trees. But now I get to use it to make cool construction projects around my town. And as they get closer and closer to my village, I can keep more of the fencing. So that's going to be awesome. And in the next crafting corner, hopefully I'll have higher mycelium towers, maybe some more structure around the town as far as dirt goes, and we'll see if the grass is greener on the village side in the next crafting corner. Now, let's get back to the main cast. Evolution. It's exciting. Evolution in games is as vital as evolution in the human species. Now, wait up! I know there are some people who that is a touchy subject, and I know it's a theory, but go with me here. We're looking at evolution as a philosophy in changing species. So, one species starts out as, say, something that was swimming around in the water, and then through slow evolution, a series of changes in the species through environmental effects, biological effects, genetics changing and shifts of that nature, the organism, very much like spore, adapts and is able to conquer new biomes like land, developing lungs instead of gills. And that kind of change we see all the time in video games. In fact, it's one of the things that keeps us the most compelled. If there was no evolution in video games, let's look at, Pokemon, a series that hardly evolves, although does involve a lot of evolving, which is kind of ironic. That is starting to get tedious on me. If the storyline doesn't evolve, we put the game down. But evolution within Pokemon is fantastic, and it's something really that is absolutely important in enjoying a Pokemon game. For example, think about Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. Now, despite the fact whether you're more an RPG fan or a dungeon crawler fan, forget that. Did you enjoy the game more that you could evolve your Pokemon whenever you damn well pleased because you earned your experience right there, you did all that was necessary to fulfill the evolution, you changed your Pokemon species into something far greater? Did you like that game more? Or did you like the experience that had you go through all of the main game, and then at the end, in the post-game, that's when you got to evolve your Pokemon? Tell me, which was the more exciting, enthralling title to you? For me, at least, it was every single RPG I played, it topped that Mystery Dungeon experience every time over because of evolution. Imagine if Pikachu never evolved into Raichu. Think of that dynamic within even the anime that would never happen, or even Pokemon Yellow, where your Pikachu would become quite enraged if you ever suggested evolving it. Now, evolution is key not only in getting stronger monsters, but it's key in the gaming franchise. Imagine if we never evolved out of Atari. Imagine if that was all that we would accept, if E.T. the game was the greatest thing anybody ever played, and there was no other experience to be had because people thought evolution was not necessary. Pikachu, wake up and learn from this! Do you want all of your game experiences to be copies and replicas of horrible 80s games? No! Pikachu, you've got a loophole. You're an animated feature, and in the games, you damn well have to evolve. If you're going to be the strongest, baddest trainer in the land, having a top team of fully evolved Pokemon through means of happiness, stones of evolution, or just pure leveling up is vital. Think of who's really more likely to win. A Pichu versus a Raichu. Already, Pichu's injuring itself because you read its Pokedex entry, and sometimes it doesn't know how to use its power already, being a younger Pokemon, so it's going to shock itself and give itself damage instead of attacking Raichu and topping it. In fact, Raichu just has to be there. Fat, chubby Raichu, that I, very evolved. And just, when Pichu attacks, it's just bouncing off its belly and Pichu's dead and done. That's what evolution yields. It yields powerful forms. It yields better games. And evolution learns from the mistakes of the old. Think about it. Do we have in today's 3DS technology the same type of 3D imagery used in the awful experiment of Nintendo's Virtual Boy? I don't think so. The red and blue screens, they're no longer there. Instead, we have some kind of lenticular meshing screen that's learned through many evolutions in the LCD screen. This technology leap that was already in the head of Miyamoto years ago could not occur until the evolution of another species. If we think about technology as differing species, I am communicating to you currently through my laptop. The Laptopicus Communicaticus allows me to connect with you online through cameras, but, for example, this also related species, a much smaller, compact, portable version of what my Laptopicus Communicaticus does, connecting me, recording what I do with its visual stimuli, and distributing it. It's an evolution of that, because before, these devices were far more clunky, did so many less applications, and basically they were just phones. I mean, now it is literally a mini supercomputer in the palm of my hand. That's evolution. And evolution sometimes takes bits and pieces from other species. It's not just one thing replicating itself again and again, ironing out the bumps and mutation until something yields well for the audience. It also looks to other species that are doing well. Microsoft and Sony. Didn't you think that motion was quite silly in the beginning before you guys knew that Wii was the #1 console? Did you think it was still silly after it was that? Did you think that it wasn't worth a go? Obviously, you thought it was worth something, because now you have motion-compatible devices. You have motion games. And Microsoft, oh my. You said you were laughing and mocking Nintendo's jump at the casual core. But you've missed that boat. They've already sailed away in the cruise ship with it, and you're like, hey, connect animals. You could act like you're petting real animals without a controller. It's mind-boggling. So much casual core. It's not awesome to them, and they've lost interest. Why? Because they're casual, or they've moved on to something that keeps their attention all the time. Angry Birds. Are you going to have that next, Microsoft? Are you going to have throw giant Angry Birds on your screen with your arms and connect in 360? It's amazing. I wouldn't be surprised if they did that. But no, they evolved because of one species, the Wii species, doing so well in the marketplace that now everybody has a chance to experience motion gaming. Even portables are using motion gaming. I've got a couple of things on just my Android device. I have now my 3DS, which is the current gen of portable in 2012, from 2011 to 2012. That also uses gyroscopes, that also has motion steering for driving games. You can look around your world in an immersive 3D experience with the 3DS. That is using motion. That was learned from the Wii. Also, I am not sure if Sony PS Vita has motion. I would assume that it does. I almost feel that it has to in some way. For a driving game, that almost seems like it's necessary. But do correct me if I'm wrong. If I am, though, Sony's already made the move almost very minimalistically. It's interesting to see the two divergent paths, the bifurcation of evolution between Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo, where Sony was like, we were the most assholey, but we're going to rip off the most too, and act like it was great. Here's the catch. An S&M gag ball right on the top of the controller. Now we're talking PlayStation 3 super movability action. No, you're not. You're talking about something that you mocked as a beneficial adaptation, and now you're somberly coming over, head swinging, saying, okay, we've got it too. It's just like the Wii Remote, but oh wait, there's a ball on top. It's more accurate, but did you care in the first place? No. If you have any audience on PS3, they're most likely hardcore gamers that you've developed with your lacking adaptations to only want the joypad experience. Now, I'm not saying that all PS3 people are these types of people, but what I'm saying is that Sony, compared to Nintendo, has a much larger, inflexible audience when it comes to originality and differing things to do in games. Do you think that the Blob game that came out on Wii would have had as much success on PS3? I'm not sure. It was an excellent game, but would it have even gotten a chance in hardcore titles like Resistance, Infamous, even something like Little Big Planet? Why would people want to pick up a Blob game? You know? Why? That does paint? That's for kids. Put it on Wii. Everybody acted as though having something that was more using and depending on motion and gameplay, not necessarily high-intensity graphics, was the superior adaptation choice. But now we see it's a mixture. You can't just say, you know, here's attacking a bit on Nintendo's side, but get with the next-gen programming. Finally you are with Wii, but man, did it take you long enough. That was a poor adaptation too. We see that things are merging. You know, we want a consistent experience that opens our minds up to new things in gaming, that busts our craniums into new imagination spheres, because we couldn't process this before. I could not see a 3D screen without glasses before the 3DS was invented. I could not motion my Game Boy Advance to do any sort of comparable things in any game like Super Mario Advanced. It would not steer. I could use all my imagination and all my willpower into my Game Boy Advance. It would not work. It was not until this technology was introduced. But you see that it comes from the mind. It comes from our desires to see new realms, to break past barriers of experience, something that's often hard to do in today's highly urbanized and technological world. I don't know about you guys. I live in New Jersey. It's damn hard to find anywhere that's really exciting to explore, that you're not crossing onto trespass territory. You can't go into abandoned sites of construction, even though it is one of the most cool places to experiment and explore. I have not gone there, but you can check out an awesome channel called Abandoned Scotland for some great videos of abandoned places, but that's beside the point. Games allow you, no matter where you are, to go into these vast realms of experience and see what you can find, see what you can unlock, see how you, as a gamer, can evolve. I don't know about you, but I was a noob when I first started. An uber noob, in fact. I mean, shit, I didn't even know how to get out of my home in Pokemon Crystal when the game first started. I would go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and I would just keep going on the staircase. I was like, is this game only one room? Ah! That was me. Like, what, maybe 8 years ago? I don't even know. But I was an uber noob. Through many game experiences, I've evolved into now a partnered Let's Player. Wow. Imagine if I was that Pikachu who was turning down that Thunderstone because I didn't want to evolve. Not saying anything, people who don't believe in evolution for real people, but maybe you want to reconsider the theory. If you say that you don't want to evolve and there's no potential to evolve because we hadn't evolved from previous things, what future do you have? You're just stuck in the Atari phase. But evolution in video games is experience that needs to be had. Let me know what you guys think. What's your favorite evolution moment in games? Is it Pokemon? Do you love that dun 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 of your Pokemon evolving when you've worked so hard or searched so long for that precious evolution stone to get them to that next form, or your happiness has bonded you all the way? Or is it an evolution and a boss? That's something that really is important in every game. So many games have bosses with multiple phases. That's almost a precedent and a standard now in video games, that the boss that you fight is not the final boss. It's just a form of the final boss that you'll fight later after you've progressed and evolved in the combat of that particular game. Or is it in the evolution of the console wars? Are you maybe a Sony, Xbox, Nintendo fanboy? Tell me your perspective. Personally, I am indifferent. I think PC gaming, power-wise, it really is superior because you have that endless potential to evolve. There you go again with the evolution key in gaming. PCs have the endless potential to upgrade their parts and components if you build your own, and it can be done relatively cheap. A powerful gaming PC that trumps my laptop, which was $3,000 in 2010, can be made now in 2012 for a mere $1,000. That's evolution. So let me know below what you think about the evolution philosophy of this gaming gauntlet. Now we're going to move on to this week's, or really last week's, Eevee Train Pokemon of the Week. Yes, unfortunately, not only did I not make a podcast for 2 weeks, but I missed out on one Eevee training blog. I know, it is horrible. But Ambipom. I didn't get to talk about this Pokemon like I wanted to last week when I thought I recorded, but didn't have my microphone, so it didn't work. Ambipom is the last week's, and it can be scrolled through in the blog in my website, so check that all out for the detailed list of where I put the EVs exactly, what moves I suggest. But here's the basic strategy. Ambipom can learn the ability, or can be bred with the ability, I should say, maybe wheat breads, possibly sesame, no, I'm kidding, Pokemon breeding, to get different natures, and of course different abilities. The pickup ability is something that allows you to grab an item that's been thrown, or grab an item that's been dropped somehow, and that's pretty intense when you consider the move Fling. Fling is a attack that's based on what item your Pokemon is holding. So if you're throwing a berry at an opponent, it's not going to be as super effective as throwing an iron barb, which is a spiked barb shooting right at your opponent, or a heavy ball. Like I really forget what that item's called, but it's like the heavy iron ball that just makes your Pokemon slower. That's one of the great uses of this move. However, I recommend throwing a poison barb instead of any other item. Reason being is that you're not slowed down at all by the poison barb. You also have the ability to poison your Pokemon. It's almost like a guaranteed poison sting, with the effect of poison being added to your opponent's status. Except differing from Poison Sting, it does, I think, 70 or 75 damage. It's either 70 or 75. Check out my website because it's been a couple of weeks. Can't remember all off the top of my head, but it's all detailed there. And what's the beauty of this move is usually when Fling is launched, you can only use it once because you throw your item and it's gone. Your item is in your opponent's hand at this point, or in the opponent's head, like, you're not getting this back. You just, fuck you! And that's annoying. But with the pickup ability, Ambipom and his double palm tail hands will just be grabbing and swiping anything that he flings, drops, or stumbles upon, and, there goes the item. He'll get it back. So you can keep on repeating the Fling move. There are some other great additional moves that work well with this Pokemon. I'm trying to remember. I know it was a sweeper of sorts. It's got a great move pool, and I highly recommend it on anyone's team. It's got a good advantage also of being a normal type, because many attacks won't phase it like ghost types, or won't be super effective. They will be normally effective, sure, but the only super effective type against normal is fighting types. So it's a good Pokemon to start with if you're looking for an attacker. I'm believing it was a adamant attacker, an adamant sweeper. If I'm incorrect, then so be it. I can't remember at the moment if Fling is special or normal attack. That's the only thing about being a Pokemaniac. So many things about Pokemon are flying past you all the time that you forget some other things that you have picked up along the way. It's the one downfall to actually being more serious about Pokemon and writing a research paper about it. That sounds so odd, that there's a downfall to writing a research paper about Pokemon. I'm freaking Professor Elm here. What? I'm Prof. Dio, and I'm complaining about it? No, but you tend to forget more of the things in the gaming world when you're doing research about why these seizures hit Japan when the Porygon episode happened. I mean, that was really crazy. That could have been diabolical and ended Pokemon right there, but they did some interesting things to make it okay, and I'll tell you more in the research paper. But Ambipom, cool Pokemon, great 4th gen. And now let's get to the viewer comments and questions from last podcast. Hatboy9991 says, the things that drop blaze rods are blazes. So that was a question I asked in my crafting corner last week. Also, Nintendo will probably come up with holographic video games first, but Microsoft will make it better, like what happened with the motion sensors. See? Just as we mentioned before, the evolution of motion, it increased the motion. You know, I may have mocked Microsoft with their going after the casual core after they said it was a goofy thing to do for Nintendo to do, but they did improve motion considerably, and they are developing hardcore games for it. So, with that, it's a great evolution. It's not like they just remade the Wii Remote, and PS Move, even though it looks like a Wii Remote, it is definitely a lot more dead accurate than it. So all these evolutions are key. And yeah, I would agree with that. I would see Nintendo being the most ambitious of the 3 companies at this time, just looking at their history of what they've done and how they've really revolutionized the gaming industry. I would say they'd be more ambitious to try holography in the home. And then, of course, Microsoft and Sony will love to come up with their high-intensity graphics are all the rage for gaming and make some glossier images. So we'll have some blocky forms of kind of believable but not super believable. You could see kind of the almost TV resonance lines on the holographic Pokemon images, but you get the point. It's a live Pokemon, as live as a Pokemon will ever be beside you in photons, in holograms. And then Sony and Microsoft will come out with something that's going to blow your mind. It's going to be your entire living room turns into the scenery of the game, and you're going to have some kind of way to move without moving, and it's going to be mind-boggling. The future is awesome with technology and gaming, but that's evolution. That is all because of evolution. We are constantly seeking, even now with the most excellent technology we have. I am loving this, and my 3DS, and my Wii, everything that I am enjoying. We're still looking for that liminal edge of evolution where the next mutation, it may be good, it may be bad, but man, I want to see. We're always there. Mega Bayleaf says, Dio, you need more room for your melons to grow. My melons? I think you mean pumpkins, friend. They each need a space beside each vine to grow. Love the long episode, though. Thanks for the great comment, and thanks for the tip. I kind of had a feeling, and I think I actually commented back to you when I was doing my blog channel, and I was like, oh, wait, he's not going to know that it's me commenting to him. But yes, I did know, just by the aspect of my pumpkins not coming up after a very long time, that they would need space all around them. I guess that means water. Water can't be there. I'm going to have water in the diagonals. But there was another comment left by 77Roxanne. I'm not going to read it, though, because it would rise my hubris far too much. No need to boost an ego. Although, thank you for your comment. I disagree. I think I'm a YouTube star, maybe starting out. Not a god. But that's been the gaming gauntlet of this week. Hope you've enjoyed it. Please leave your comments below. If you have a Pokemon that you're looking to EV train that you would like my tips in, then comment. If it gets a lot of thumbs up, then I'll make it one of the EV Train blogs of the week. Of course, you could check out this last week's and many other weeks' EV Train Pokemon, which was Ambipom 2 weeks ago, at my website's blog. And keep staying tuned to all the shows. Remember to subscribe to them, because each show you subscribe to will separately update on your feed, and that will make sure that you never miss an episode of Sonic Crystal Generations, which is Sonic Crystal Generations, which is a new game. It's a hack. But yeah, you'll keep up to date with all the content I'm putting out. And I'm going to go. So see you next time for the Gaming Gauntlet Show.
That the masters wanted us not to see.
Thank you.